keep it.
Warning 4, if such acts are committed, the judgment of God will fall. 1, will be rejected, vomited out. 2, must be cut off.
Warning 4, the judgment of God will fall if illicit perverted sex is allowed to permeate and corrupt the land. Note what God says. The land will reject, vomit its people out. All persons who engage in illicit and perverted sex must be cut off. No matter who the persons are, they will be cut off from God and from the people of God.
So God shows no partiality to anyone. You do it, bye, get out. Can you imagine if you'd been cut off? Yes, and then I got one more. Go ahead.
Yeah, you know what's interesting? It says in 28 that the land spew not, you are also. And it seems to suggest that you said like this, the land is going to spew you out. I'm wondering if that would also, obviously not directly apply to today, but I wonder if there's some similarities we can take from it today. You know, we have a lot of homosexuality going on.
You got it.
And I'm wondering, and we know that God does things on his own time. Sometimes it may take centuries for things to happen.
You got it. We got Trump in office, so you better think about it. I can't say it enough, you better think about it, because hey, well, everybody that I know of said he's a pretty bad man. Well, you better stop and think about it. There's someone that doesn't even know God, that's not interested in knowing God, but he's your one that's leading you. Believe me, we're on a rough road right now. I want you to read 30 before I shut it down. 30 says what?
Therefore, oh sorry.
Okay.
Therefore shall ye keep mine ordinance, that ye commit not any one of these abominable customs which were committed before you, and that ye defile not yourselves therein. I am the Lord your God.
Warning 5, must keep God's laws and live a life of separation. Must not follow any of the detestable customs of the world. Warning 6, the supreme authority standing behind the laws, the Lord your God.
Warning 5, the believer must keep God's laws and live a life of separation. He must not follow any of the detestable customs of the worldly. Warning 6, note the supreme authority standing behind the laws governing sexual behavior. I am the Lord your God.
Guys, in case you were trying to write this down, you didn't have to because it's on the papers. I got it all on the papers. I just put it on the screen so that you could see it. But what I did was this time was I gave you an outline. I put an outline on the top. That's what I did. That was the only difference. I put an outline, so I pulled out what I would have considered very important. Pulled it out, put it on for an outline. Then I turn around and put what you already have on your papers. That's there. You just don't have the outline. So I wanted you to see that. But you don't have to worry about it. You have the document there. I hope this one, Leviticus 18, 19 on down, I hope it helps you to understand how serious this is. Do we need to change? By all means, we need to change our ways. By all means, we need to understand God still has laws, rules, and regulations on how He wants us to live. I've seen it too many times. I've watched too many young people, and I've seen too many, hey, I want to get married, but why aren't you married? Because could it have been you've lowered your standards? Could it have been that you've gotten sexually active and you shouldn't have been sexually active? Could it have been now that you have such sexual behaviors that when someone comes along, they can't please you? Because you've been so worldly. So how do I fix this? It's very simple. I let go. I let go, I move on, and I start to live now like God would want me to live. I allow God to find my spouse. Not me, but I allow God to find my spouse. Let me state this. Sex is a gift from God. It is a gift from God. If it is a gift from God and you have sexual desires, then why don't you give it to God? Let God find your mate. He will. He knows before you even ask. He knows what you want and what is, and He knows who you need. But so many times I've seen mothers, one kid, and the father ain't there. 2 kids and a different father. 3 kids and a different father. 4 kids and a different father. So you say, when does it stop? When do you stop making mistake after mistake after mistake? When do you pull the plug? When do you give yourself back to God? After all, it's quite obvious you got a sexual desire because you got illegitimate children. Watch this. And those illegitimate children, that's maybe one incident where the seed, the sperm was put in you. But what about them times when you were still doing stuff and nothing happened? What about them times after the seed was put in you? You can't get pregnant twice when the seed has been put in you. So how many times do you go on? Now that man has said, guess what, I've belittled you. And so now he says, do I want to stay? You know, after all, that is going to be my kid. That should never have been in his head. That should have never been in his head. It should have been, hey, I'd like for you to have my baby. Then guess what? We need to put a ring on. I told you what a man does when he says he loves you. Oh, he's going to marry you. It ain't nothing to talk about. He's going to marry you. You know why? Because he don't want nobody else to have you. He's going to marry you. And he says, hey, you mine. I met my wife, and the next day I told her I'd marry her. She's there right back there, and you can ask her. But I told her I'd marry her. Why? I said, nope, I'm playing for keeps. This one I want. This one I want to keep. All that other junk was just junk. It's the freak in the sheets, or whatever you call it. But stop and think about it. You get past that mess. You grow up mentally, and you say, I'm going to make a wise decision and a permanent decision. Yes.
I was going to say the world becomes so defiled. Even in the church, I knew somebody that waited till he got married. And people called him gay or thought he was gay.
Wow.
Because he didn't want to be with a woman.
Wow.
Many turned him down because he didn't want to be with a woman.
Wow.
Until marriage.
See, that's awesome.
In the church.
Wow.
That's
Are you
awesome.
serious?
That's awesome. I thank you all for your undivided attention, guys.